We are back for part 3 of how to catch up when you are feeling financially behind. If you have not already looked at part 2, where we talked about 7 different ways on how you can catch up when you are financially behind, or you didn't look at part 1 where it talks about why you are feeling financially behind, make sure you get caught up on those videos before you watch this one. It will be super important for you to watch the videos in order and to see all the information that I'm giving you so that you won't be so lost on this video right here. This video, I'm going to be sharing 5 more ways that you can catch up when you are financially behind. There will be more videos that are coming out this month for the month of April in order to share with you and make sure that your finances are good and that we are on the right track and that we're moving in the right direction for the rest of 2025. This video is going to be focusing again on 5 additional ways to catch up when you are financially behind. So let's go ahead and continue from where we were previously. If you did not know, my name is Nija. Here on this channel, I talk about budgeting, saving, mortgage-free, as well as side hustle income and anything that involves those topics. If you are interested in that content, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you hit the all notification bell. And if you are returning, thank you guys so much for coming back. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button and give me a comment so that this content gets pushed out to many more people here on YouTube. Last time we left off on number 6, and that talked about paying off debt, or the number 7 way that you can catch up financially when you are behind is to build an emergency fund. Building an emergency fund is going to help you and give you that peace of mind that you need. I have built up an emergency fund for 6 months when we first got out of debt. It did take me quite some time in order to build it up. I would actually say that it took almost a year, but I was on a lower income than what I am right now. But don't allow that to discourage you if you are on a low income. You still can build up an emergency fund and make it to where you want it to be. What I suggest is that you start on the smaller scale of either $500 to $1,000. Why do I say that? $500 to $1,000? Because that's much more attainable. That seems much more realistic than you saying, okay, I want to build up an emergency fund of $15,000, which is going to cover 5 months worth of expenses. Let's be realistic. $500 to $1,000 that I can put into the bank over time sounds a lot more reasonable and something that I can attain with instant gratification than saying $15,000, where that goal is very much far off. Eventually, yes, you may want to get up to $15,000. But let's start off small so that we can see exactly how our money is going to be allocated. So you may want to go ahead and automate your savings, and also put any extra money after you budget that has been already prepared for you, put a portion of it into your emergency fund. So if you happen to have a little bit of extra money left over at the end of the month, maybe let's say from a clothing category that you have, and let's say you have maybe $40 in there. Maybe you want to put $20 towards your emergency fund in addition to what you have already automated to that emergency fund. So again, start small with this, and this is going to be a way that we can catch up financially when we're behind, because if an emergency should happen, we don't have to go back into debt in order to help us pay for that emergency, but we have an emergency fund that is going to help cushion and help us. Even if we have to go into a small amount of debt, even with our emergency fund, we still have something that we can work with. Now, the number 8th way that we are going to catch up when we are feeling financially behind is by making sure that we look at our credit score. Now, you're probably like, wait a minute, what does this have to do with anything? We want to make sure that anything that is on our credit report or our reports is actually true and for us. You don't know how many times people have gone onto their credit reports and they're like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that was on there. I don't even know who that is, and they've had to dispute it, okay? It could be that if something is on your credit report that is not even yours, that it could be bringing your score down. So you want to make sure you get a free credit report from the big 3. Now, who are the big 3? You can get 1 annual free credit report from the big 3 every single year. And I'm going to share with you who those big 3 are. So the 3 credit reporting agencies are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You want to make sure that you look at all three of these because you can get the free report. Now, if you want more than one report throughout the year, you will have to pay a fee in order to get that. But they do provide one for you. Normally, if a company contacts you and says that there was a data breach, you can also get a free credit report from these individuals as well in order to check on your account and make sure that the data breach did not affect your credit score. But you want to make sure that your credit score is in good standing. This is going to be so important for you for later on when you start to apply for credit. Now, let me just say, I'm not advocating that anyone goes into debt or goes out and applies for a credit card. But we all have to agree that credit score is an important thing. It leads to many opportunities and things that you may need. You will need some type of credit score. I know this is contradictory to what Dave Ramsey states, is if you are a Dave Ramsey fan, but I have learned and I have seen that having a credit score and a good credit score actually will help you as far as things that you may want to apply for and or get, especially if you are looking at trying to get a home loan in the future. You will need some type of credit score for that. So you want to make sure that your credit score is something that is favorable by making sure that you get your free credit report annually. The next thing that we want to do in order to catch up when we are financially behind, as our 9th tip or way, is no new debt. Now, I understand that things happen. Sometimes you just can't avoid having new debt. Things come all the time. This was the case with us with our chimney repair. We had to take on a little bit of debt for that because we didn't realize after the raccoon had gotten into our attic that our chimney was actually rotted out. The chimney had to have a full restoration as well as the roof. So we had to go into a little bit of debt in order to take care of that. But for me, it was well worth it. We were able to pad a lot of it by using some savings that we had, and then we had to go ahead and pay off what we had on our credit card with that new incurred debt. So if you can avoid it, don't do additional debt. However, I do understand that life happens. Tracy from Budgeting with Tracy just talked about how her car that she had for the family, which was one vehicle, a Challenger, it kept having so many repairs that she had to do for the vehicle. It was actually almost costing more than what the vehicle was worth. And she had plans on actually transferring that car or upgrading it or trading it in next year. But she was like, why would I continue to pay all this money for repairs when we're going to trade it in anyway? So she did get a new vehicle, and now she's on a 24-month plan in order to pay that vehicle off. Notice I said she's on a 24-month plan. She has a plan in place in order to pay that vehicle off in 24 months and or before, so that she's not incurring any extra interest than what she needs to. So if you have to take on new debt, make sure that you have a plan in place to help you with paying off that debt quickly. The 10th reason of how we're going to financially catch up is that we're going to have a safety net in place. A safety net is going to be a plan for unexpected expenses. So that could be something that I'm doing currently is a 1 month ahead fund. If you don't know what a 1 month ahead fund is, that I've looked at all my essential expenses for my 4 walls, and I put them into a binder in categories to actually show that, hey, I need to make sure that I am saving up for these things so that in the event I get behind on bills because life happens, I will have a 1 month ahead fund to where I can actually pay those bills and stay on track without incurring late fees. I eventually want to build this up to 6 months and then also to a year, but for right now, I'm starting with 1 month ahead. So you want to have a plan in place before the situation happens and occurs, and that will feel and help you to where you don't feel as though you're so behind on everything. You can start with this 1 month ahead, putting little money into it, just a couple of dollars into the categories that you need, even if it's just $1. Tasha from Mind Your Money states that She just puts in $1 into some of her categories or funds or purpose funds that she has, things that are important to her and her household, even if she doesn't have a lot of money. And that's a great way to look at it. You're still contributing. So you want to make sure that you have that safety net there for yourself in order to help you so that you don't get behind and that you're moving forward with your finances. And the last way that we are going to catch up when we are feeling financially behind is to monitor and adjust. All of these tips and ways that I have shared with you, we can't just leave them on autopilot. We can't do a set it and forget it. We need to make sure that we are looking and reviewing the progress of each one of these things, wherever you may fall as far as these 11 tips and things that I have shared. But you need to make sure that you are monitoring and adjusting accordingly to your budget, your expenses, how life happens and how things occur. You want to make sure that you are celebrating those small wins also. But if you need to adjust, then you need to adjust, and that is okay. That is where we go back to being patient, being open, and willing to learn. Remember, that was the first thing that I talked about on the video on how to catch up when you are financially behind. It's super important that we remember that, as well as monitoring and adjusting as needed. If you happen to find any of these tips that I have shared in the series in part 1, part 2, or part 3 helpful, please make sure that you share this content out to other individuals so that they can see that they can get their finances back on track, just like how you're getting your finances back on track as well. And make sure, again, that you give this video a big, huge thumbs up, and make sure you comment in the comment section which one of these tips or things that I have shared today resonates with you and that you are looking to do after you have completed your homework for this section. This again is homework for you guys, as the part 2 video was. Until the next video, guys, bye.